Good morning. Happy Super Tuesday. This is really setting up well the last couple of conversations about how Dickies is bringing new technology in, all those various applications that you're trying to sort through. I want to jump on that and help you continue to make these decisions. Do I risk jumping in to something that may not be so profitable and might hurt my business? Or do I take the risk of being left behind? So those are the key questions facing us, and our technology at Reif is really about the physical world and really about the community. So let me start by reassuring you that things aren't so bad, because I've been in the industry for over 30 years, in some cases longer than some of the ages of the people in the room. But I haven't seen the disorientation level that I have seen at this conference in a long, long time. And I think there is a level of anxiety in terms of how do I make these decisions and how do I keep up? In fact, can I even think of being ahead of the game? So one piece of reassurance is, despite all the tech happening in the world, restaurants are still very, very profitable. And restaurants still have a tremendous amount of cash flow. So if you look at this, you can see that over the last decade, Domino's has actually outperformed the big four tech companies. So there's still cause for a great deal of confidence in the value of the restaurant industry. And I'm here to say that Domino's was really the first ghost kitchen of sorts, because they were the first to go out and create delivery-only units and carry-out units in places where people weren't building restaurants. And look at the success that they had because they got out ahead of it. But what we've also learned is that you can't just be one of the pack and just jump on. So we talked about the driver and the white and black driver. We came up with another driver, your daily driver, to show you the same illustration. I don't know if any of you have seen this on Instagram, but those are all the SUVs out in the market today. And it's pretty hard to tell them apart. In fact, the best-selling car is no longer a car. For a while, it was the F-150 pickup, and now it's an SUV. But if you're just like one of the SUV suppliers and just incrementally change the way that you build SUVs, you better be careful, because somebody like Tesla might come along and reinvent with the Cybertruck. The second thing we've learned from Mark so far this week is that you got to think big in your aspirations of doing this stuff. So at Reif, we recognize that phone has become very powerful, and it's a gateway to our restaurants. And right now, it's amazing. You spend 4 hours a day on the damn thing, but you can really do a whole heck of a lot with it. But it can't do everything. So you also have to look at what it takes to fulfill some of the things that you do on that phone. So you go from the virtual world back to the physical world so you can actually get what you wanted out of those apps on the phone. So what Reif has tried to do is to figure out a way to fulfill on all those needs out of the virtual world in a new and better physical world. So far, technology has really had its way with a lot of retail and cleaned the landscape quite a bit. But there's still a need to fulfill those orders and physically deliver those products. So at Reif, what we've done is looked at a way to use parking lots to create new urban hubs that can help fulfill on all those different goods and services and do it very close to home, so it's super convenient for you. So we put lots of use cases. Let me show you a video.
Amazon has announced it will decrease the standard shipping time.
Items are available for same-day delivery.
People go online to order everything from clothes to paper towels.
It's a small vehicle with huge potential.
I'm as excited as anybody else about self-driving cars.
And e-scooters are becoming increasingly common in other cities as well.
Ghost restaurants are a relatively new phenomenon where restaurants only exist online.
Almost turning them into commissary-style setups.
But with this progress comes new challenges, like lack of infrastructure, congestion, pollution, and more logistical complexity in city centers. So our mission became clear: to connect the world of goods, services, and experiences to the city block by placing them in proximity to consumers at the time of need. To achieve this proximity, we built the largest diversified real estate network in North America, which all hinges from the simple idea of the parking space. Then, we implemented our proprietary technology to transform the parking industry into a frictionless, integrated experience. That made us think, how else could technology bring added value? So we developed REEF Kitchens to offer restaurateurs additional revenue and rapid expansion paths for their delivery businesses without the expense of capital. 3 parking spaces can become home to as many as 6 delivery and pickup restaurant brands. And the Reef's unique proximity to consumers means getting hot, fresh food faster than ever. And it isn't just food that people want on demand. They also want their packages delivered in hours, not days. So we created micro-fulfillment and distribution centers for faster delivery. These buffer zones provide warehouse and distribution space for delivery trucks to hand off packages to electric bike messengers for immediate last block delivery, and for rideshare vehicles to park, reducing traffic and pollution. Reif brings profitability to the landlord's parking real estate. The power of proximity is enormous, and the possibilities are endless. We are Reif, the ecosystem that connects the world to your block.
So yeah, we started in the parking business, and we started by creating an app that made parking frictionless. It basically took your vehicle registration, matched it up with your credit card, just like some of that facial recognition stuff. So now you can drive in and out of parking lots without contending with the gate. Just go right to your space. Your payment's deducted. You don't have to deal with the gate, and you're out and on your way. But in the process of doing that work, we realized that we were sitting on something of very high value, and that parking, the reason people charge for parking is not to store your car. The reason they charge for parking is to get you close to the action. So it was the realization that parking really is uniquely suited to be close to where consumers are, and it gives us the greatest access point to do this physical fulfillment. So what we did is raised $1.2 billion and went out and bought 2 of the largest parking management companies in North America. So what that puts us in position to do is to deploy on nearly 5,000 lots. And those lots right now have access to 70% of the US urban population. So even if your business is great and you're growing, chances are you still have had some challenges trying to get into urban markets, because it's hard to find the real estate, and it's hard to pay for the rent, and it's hard to find people. So now there's a new way of doing that because we built this infrastructure, and it's basically a real estate platform to go along with your virtual platform. And in the same sense, it's open source, just like the iPhone is, in the sense that we welcome all varieties of brands to come be on this platform and take advantage of it to do delivery really, really well. So here's one level deeper in terms of the value of the network. So here's three brands, 2 you've heard a lot about, going back to Domino's as one of the most successful delivery operations. They have 105 locations in these particular top 10 urban markets. So Reif's new network is about 7 times that. And McDonald's, as well developed as they are, has 321 locations. And again, Reif's about twice that. So Reif's network is very extensive and gives you a chance to reach into these markets very effectively. So how do we do that? Well, we build kitchens that are mobile and can be deployed on these lots. So we can start with one brand, or in some cases, add a second brand, or even a third brand, because John talked a little bit about sometimes the national brands don't have much of an issue with delivery because of their brand awareness, but maybe those local heroes or some of those fledgling regional chains can't perform at that level. So what we can do is subsidize that in effect by putting more than one brand in a vessel and lowering the sales threshold to be able to make money at this. The second thing is just that. All the delivery guys have been blowing out the growth of the delivery business, but they haven't been talking a whole lot about profitability. And we all know, if anything, the margins are getting compressed because we're adding a whole bunch of costs to that effort. So how do you make money at delivery? Well, in this setup, there's basically 4 things that make a difference and make delivery profitable. First, you start with labor. In these particular vessels, they're only 200 square feet, and the equipment is very contiguous to one another, which makes the operations very efficient. So even without robots, you can't pack more than 3, maybe 4 people in one of these, so your labor efficiency is very, very strong. The second thing is your food cost. It's a 2-tier system where we actually have a commissary prep kitchen that supports up to 15 of these vessels. And so what they can do is produce product with consistency. They can par, cook it, or bake it, so that in the vessel, we can turn around the prep of an order in less than 5 minutes. And then when you consider the fact that we're close to the drivers, and because there's a community or a hub on this parking lot with all these different applications, it's like a hotspot that attracts these drivers, so they know where to go, where the money train is, and where they can expect the next order. So they actually hang out in our locations, so the time to get a driver to the vessel, the time to prep the food, and then, because we're so close to the end user, the time to deliver the product to the end user. You think about 10, 15 years ago when Domino's was the first to come out with the 30-minute guarantee. In this world, we are approximating 15 minutes in some cases. So we can really do a great job of getting food to people quickly when they're hungry, because a lot of these orders are impulsive because people are hungry. So it's not just about, the beautiful match is to take your fastest growing channel, which is delivery, and finally make it profitable so you don't feel guilty about trying to grow your delivery business or invest in it. So you have to make sure, back to the question about how do I sort through all this, you have to make sure that your efforts in the future are all about growing your profitability and cash flow. So you have to be very careful that with delivery you're doing that. So we've worked very hard to set up the system as a way to help you access this business, access the guest, and do it profitably. So we welcome you to join us and come on the platform. Right now we have 28 of our own brands operating, and like John said, just as he had tested all the technology in his own environments before he subjected his customers to it, we've done the same. We've actually deployed now in 18 different markets around the country. We have 50 vessels live and running now, and those 50 vessels represent 750 storefronts because we have 6 or 7 brands in each of them, and they're on all 4 delivery platforms. So we've thoroughly vetted this and have proven that we can permit it, that we can get it up and rolling, that we can deliver on the speeds that we anticipated, and that we can drive this business profitably. Because in addition to saving on the food cost and the labor, the vessels are about 1/10 of the cost of what a brick-and-mortar restaurant would go for. And the rent is much cheaper when you pay rent to a parking lot as opposed to Class A real estate. And the beauty of that is you're not making any trade-off in the quality of your real estate by paying less for it, because these parking lots are actually in a better position to access your guest. So that's what we're up to. I hope you saw a little bit of the future of commerce. These hubs are pretty exciting because we did kitchens first, because kitchens are the hardest thing to do, as you guys all know. We've all been in the business a long time. It's a lot of detail. It's a lot of challenge. But figuring out kitchens, there's so much more behind it, from delivering pharmacy to convenience store items to charging scooters to getting people into electric and buffering transportation. So you can come on just for the benefit of the kitchen and then enjoy the benefit of the broader community that grows on each of these hubs. So anyway, hope that helps give you a sense of who we are and where we're headed, and hopefully we can eliminate the vocabulary of ghost and dark, because those words are very negative, and I think it's indicative of the anxiety people had around them and the fear of, what are they going to do to me? But in fact, these opportunities are something that you can leverage to actually help you grow your business, because they're not going to hurt you. So anyway, thanks, and look forward to working with you, because I already have several customers in the room.